10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Let's do this thing back at our regularly scheduled time. Exactly. What I said right then, right there. Who the hell knows? Want to say welcome to Beyond Ringside Live on this beautiful October 22nd Wednesday afternoon. Good grief, just after the top of the 2 o'clock hour in the Central Time Zone. Just after noon on the West Coast, which means they're still having lunch, you bastards. I missed lunch. That will be taking place 5 minutes after we wrap up this show today, because I'm not in the mood to call DoorDash and eat live on air because I want pizza. And I've got a new place to try. I'm just about 10 minutes south of my current location, which is in beautiful Pelham, Alabama, right around the corner from the Beer Hog. Going to be back there next Wednesday. Yours truly, Fast Eddie Layne in Studio 1. Welcoming in tag team partners from the Peach State, the promoter, the trivia master, Shane Noles. What's up?
The Freebirds are back together again, and the Freebird rules will be enforced.
And welcome in and welcome back, Beyond Ringside family, and then some, also host of Beyond the Red Zone, Ted Guinness. Welcome back, brother.
A sports commentator is never late, nor is he ever early. He arrives precisely when he needs to.
Oh, Lord, it has been crazy so far this week, and I've got a feeling it's be even crazier. Thank you to everybody tuning in through BeyondRingside.com, ProWrestlingRadio.net, TuneIn, and the TuneIn mobile app, Streama, Radio.net. So many different methodologies, always appreciated. Let's go ahead and get this thing going. A lot going on, and Shane, I'm flipping in your direction.
Well, you know, the old adage, it ain't over till it's over. Thank you, Yogi Berra. Even though we are in October baseball with the World Series approaching game one on Friday, I must say attention must be paid to something that happened in the National Football League this past Sunday as the New York Giants had a 19-0 lead on the Denver Broncos at Mile High going into the fourth quarter. Like many people, I'm sure a lot turned it off. However, once again, the lead, it ain't over till it's over. The Denver Broncos shut out for three quarters, rallied with 33 points in one of the most stunning turnarounds in NFL history. You know I'm a trivia guy. I like numbers. I love stats. Here's a few for you. The Denver Broncos, those 33 points are tied for the most points ever scored in a quarter in NFL history. It is the most points ever scored in the fourth quarter for a team that was shut out for the first three quarters of a game. Bo Nix, quarterback of the Denver Broncos, becomes the first player ever in NFL history to have two rushing touchdowns and two passing touchdowns in the same quarter. If you look at this, the last 1,602 times in NFL history when a team was leading by 18 points in the final 6 minutes of the game, they won. That record has now been moved, dusted off. That record is now 1,602 all time for that. What is amazing about this is the New York Giants, with their young quarterback Jackson Dart, continued to score as well. There were 4 lead changes in the final 3 minutes. But on those 2 scoring drives, the New York Giants missed both extra points. Scoring a touchdown with 37 seconds to go, you finally think it's over. Bo Nix completes 2 passes, gets them in position for Will Lutz to drill the game-winning field goal, ball game, 33-32 Denver. All of us have been watching pro football, I believe, for 4 decades or more. Never seen anything like it. Highly entertaining. I know Eddie said he didn't get a chance to see it. Ted, did you catch any of that this week?
I caught the NFL recap on YouTube, and I did watch that. And I mean, I don't know if I've ever heard of a team defensively collapsing. It's like, what happened? Did everyone collectively crap up on the sideline in the fourth quarter? Because that cannot happen. And let's not take anything away from Bo Nix. Bo Nix is showing that he is a very high competent, high quality quarterback in that Denver's offense. Jackson Dart, since he's taken over as a quarterback for the Giants, he has made the Giants go from a dumpster fire to an actual legitimate football team, so much so that I'm on the fence as to how they're going to play against Philadelphia this week, whether to pick Philly or whether to pick New York. It's one of those things where, lightning gets released from the bottle. It's the perfect storm. Everything lines up as a complete and total disaster. And that's just one of those freak incidents. Does that take away anything from either of those two offenses? Absolutely not. In fact, you have to give a lot of credit for Denver for figuring out, how to basically put 60 minutes of football into a 7-minute period. And they did just that. So it's one of those games that has you scratch your head, wondering what went wrong. I would have loved to have been in the defensive room, during game film just to figure out, just to hear that conversation. But, hey, it's one of the biggest, craziest surprises we've seen in the NFL all season.
And to your point, Ted, I mean, if the Giants had allowed Denver to score and the score was, say, 34-18 down 16 or 19, that would have been something. They shut them out for 3 quarters. I'm like you, just tremendous defensive football for 3 quarters in Denver on the road, and then to allow 33 in the 4th quarter when your team scored 2 touchdowns as well. I just didn't know there was enough time in a quarter for that much scoring to happen.
By one team.
Or for 2. I mean, you look at that, 45 points combined in the 4th quarter. That's real.
Sounds like arena football.
4 lead changes in the final 3 minutes may be the most baffling part. And I think I'm going to use that as a trivia question. If I'm fortunate enough to be around in a few years, it's not Michael Vick, it's not Lamar Jackson, it's not Kyler Murray, it's not Josh Allen, it's not Steve Young, it's not Randall Cunningham, it's not Michael Vick, it's Bo Nix, the first guy ever to have 2 rushing touchdowns and 2 passing touchdowns in the same quarter. He's alone on that list.
It really.
You said Michael Vick twice.
I'm sorry.
Sometimes he deserves that second mention.
Let's say once with the Falcons, once with the Eagles.
Okay, that's fair.
I'll take that. Point scored. It almost, and I'm guilty of omission. This one harkens me back to what happened Game 4 with Shohei Ohtani. I mean, 6 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts, 3 home runs throughout the course of the game. Please name me another player in Major League history that has been a dual threat like that, both offense and defense, that has turned in that kind of a number, short of maybe possibly Babe Ruth.
I mean, you went there, Eddie. It has been the talk of my workplace for the last 2 days. And I think, we're going to run out of superlatives to describe Shohei Ohtani. 3 home runs in a closeout game in the NLCS is something. 10 strikeouts from the mound in a closeout game in the NLCS is something. He did both. And he's such a quiet, humble figure. And we all know there's plenty of guys in Major League Baseball and across professional sports that would be popping that jersey long and loud to tell you and brag about what they did. I barely even heard a word from him. And, you almost hate to say, like, for a capper, how about in the World Series against Toronto coming up? He just has a game where he pitches 5 innings, gets the win, and gets the walk-off grand slam. I don't think you need to see any more baseball if that happened. You would have seen it all. And he's getting to that point, to me, when you mention the Michael Jordans, the Wayne Gretzky's, the Muhammad Ali's, the Roger Federer's, the transcendent athletes, the legendary names of their sport. Shohei Ohtani is there.
I mean, and you got to remember, throughout that entire game, that final appearance at the plate, that was a 427-foot shot. You would think by that late in the game, you've already been pitching all the way through. Go for it from there, and you clock not only a home run, but the longest one of the 3 that you've hit.
I thought I would share this with you guys. It got a laugh. Someone asked me, what do the Milwaukee Brewers do for two different stretches, they had the best record in the National League in all of baseball. They had home field against the Dodgers. What can they do in the offseason? I said, they can't do the one thing that they need to do. They can't acquire Shohei Ohtani.
But the team that almost did would be the team that the Dodgers are facing in the World Series. World Series slated to begin this Friday, October 24th. The Dodgers taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. Let's put this in play. The defending champions, the Dodgers, and the Toronto Blue Jays, remembering that the Blue Jays are coming off a last place finish in 2024. Go figure that one out. Major League Baseball, they threw us a curve on that one. Now, the way this one's breaking down, the Dodgers had the 4-game sweep of the Brewers. Go from there, the Blue Jays had a 7-game series. There's a lot of people out there that are putting this as a foregone conclusion that the Dodgers are going to repeat, that they're going to win. Now, two things in play. One, this is the 5th time, I did a little bit of homework here, the 5th time since League Championship Series play became 7 games in 85. One team was a sweep, the other went 7. In the previous 4 instances, the team that played the 7-game series went on to win the World Series. Yes, like I said, Eddie did homework. And it wasn't just Google or Yahoo or DuckDuckGo. Also, the other one.
Well, it makes it
go ahead.
That makes perfect sense. Let me jump in on that one real quick. That makes perfect sense. The reason that makes perfect sense is because when you're in the playoffs, momentum is a lot different than the regular season. You can win 6-7 in a row in the regular season, and something will blow up the tires, and you'll drop 4 or 5 in a row. If that's the way the season is. Playoff baseball is a little bit of a different animal, where that momentum in such a short period of time really builds that sense of urgency. And I think that the team that just came off an electric Game 7, and let's not sugarcoat it at all, that was an electric finish up in Toronto. They've got the momentum. They've got the extra motivation, and they have that sense of urgency. With the Dodgers, they've been off for a little while. They're not going to have, their game muscles are going to need a little bit of time to warm up. That being said, though, the Dodgers got the pitching.
Now you bring up another valid point on that one, because the team, like I said, the team that has actually gone to 7 and continues to play into the World Series does maintain the momentum. The question is, lo and behold, and a side question from the second one I was going to ask, I'll get to that one in a second. Will you be able to physically, mentally, and emotionally be up for those games right then and there? History shows, yes, you can on the physical side. We can never take into consideration how somebody's genuinely approaching the plate from a psychological or emotional standpoint. I'm going to do a very loose comparison on this. Being a fan of the Alabama Crimson Tide, lo and behold, we had that loss to Florida State. So many people are sitting back going, that's demoralizing. Bama's done before it even begins. Lo and behold, fire DeBoer, ship him out and shoot him to Mars or something like that. And I'm sitting back going, let him cook. Give him a minute. It's one damn game. And it's regular season. Granted, it's the first game of the season, and it's always to start. But then, of course, you have Louisiana Monroe. They come back 73-0. I'm sitting back. Can we hold on to some of those points for later? We're going to need them. And then you have Wisconsin. Well, you're 2-1 now. Then you play Georgia. They've come off Wisconsin. Are they going to be overconfident? Nope. Yeah, 24-21. Bama wins. Then you have Vanderbilt. I'm looking at that as the trap game. But it's going to be in Tuscaloosa, hometown crowd. Bama wins. Hey, guess what? Another W. I'm sitting back going, okay, after this, how can they possibly be up for the Missouri game? in an excellent outing, 27-24, Bama wins. So once again, that ride continues. And then here comes Tennessee. I'm going, oh boy, I don't want to pick this game. I really don't. There's no way in my world it would be a push for Bama to be up for that game. 37-20, not to mention a beautiful pick six, 99 yards. Covered just about every aspect of possible scoring in that game, including the safety. So once again, coming back to the World Series, Game 1 is the anomaly. Both sides are going to be as physically as possible, emotionally and mentally up for that game. Getting past game number 1, depending on the result, that's going to be one of the biggest questions that I have. Can you continue to write? Because every series, every game is an entity unto itself. The other part 2 question that I was going to ask, with everybody thinking with a lot of people thinking that the Dodgers are going to repeat and the Jays aren't going to be an issue. I love it when people do that too. You have to give your opposition the benefit of the doubt that they're there for a reason. But for the Dodgers, what if they don't win? With a high firepower, not to mention high budget lineup, if Toronto pulls out this World Series win, personal opinion, what do you feel the underlying train of thought is going to be in the Dodgers camp? Ted, I'll go to you first.
Sure, utter disappointment. And I think that you're going to get a lot of guys that may be coming up on free agency that may be looking to split up the dynasty. You know, you can be a bridesmaid so many times and not a bride, and start looking for greener pastures. Yeah, they won the World Series last year. Yeah, they're looking to be repeat champions. But baseball's a business, and in this business, it's all about what have you done for me lately? Well, not winning the World Series is not winning a World Series. And you might have some guys that might be looking and saying, hey, you know what? I could go help the Mets, or I could go help the Yankees, or I could go help Boston, or maybe even jump ship and, hey, I'll go to Toronto because, look, they've got a good young core. You have to look at the Dodgers roster, and for the most part, there are a lot of veterans on that team. Their farm system, where I think they're suffering, is the fact that they have so many guys in their farm system that's logjam that, it actually almost might be a temptation for the Dodgers to say, let's let a couple of our veterans go. Let's bring up some of our younger guys and see if the youth infusion can get us back to the dance next year. I think this is going to be a very telling World Series for the future of the Dodgers in the Western Division and the National League.
Shane?
I think, though, probably the biggest thing, though, that if the Dodgers do lose the World Series, it's going to bring up a lot of question marks. Obviously, Clayton Kershaw is going to be retiring after the World Series. What do you do with his spot in the rotation? How do you spend the money to replace him, build around Shohei? And I think probably the hardest question that they're going to have to ask themselves is, where are the holes? Because the Dodgers lineup, the Dodgers bullpen, there's not a lot of holes that you need to fill. So it's really a question of if we do lose, how do we maintain people that we might lose from free agency to get them to come back and give it another run and not try to go to another team and see if they can win based on those strengths.
Shane, your thoughts?
Well, I'm picking the Toronto Blue Jays in this series in 7 games. And much like my friends that are New York Yankees fans, when the Blue Jays disposed of them, they were upset saying, how can this happen? The Yankees have the 3rd highest payroll in baseball. They do. The Toronto Blue Jays now have the 5th highest payroll in baseball. This is not Tampa Bay. This is not Pittsburgh. They have the 5th highest payroll in baseball. They have an emerging star of their own in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. George Springer, as much as I did not like him with the Houston Astros, that 3-run homer in Game 7 against Seattle is now his 23rd postseason home run all time, 3rd all time, only behind Manny Ramirez and Jose Altuve. And they've got the kind of pitching. Max Scherzer's been here before. Shane Bieber's been here before. Kevin Gossman's been here before. Those names may not be as sexy right now as Ohtani, Yamamoto, Glasnow, and Blake Snell, but Toronto also has home field advantage. And what we talked about, you brought that stat up, the team that had to go 7 has won the 4 times they faced someone in a sweep. I just like Toronto. And for the Dodgers, Ted mentioned it. You know, it's funny. They won it in 2020 and the COVID, how about the Dodgers, the short season, thanks to COVID, and they won last year. But it still feels a little bit like the Dodgers are chasing because they've had the highest payroll. They've had the stars for the longest time, and the back-to-back, the three-peats, all that stuff that people expect just has not happened. I don't think it's a detriment to them. I mean, they are the defending World Series champions we're talking about. But I agree with Ted. If they don't get it done this year for a back-to-back, they can't retain all of that. I mean, I know the Dodgers are loaded, but you don't want to be paying almost as much in a luxury tax as you do payroll itself. Kershaw is done. There are some other guys getting up there a little long in the tooth, a la Freddie Freeman, a la Max Muncy. You know, but yeah, I like Toronto here. I really do. And it's so weird because Toronto has not been in a World Series since they were in it and won it back-to-back in 92, 93.
You mentioned Freeman, and we're going to take it out on this note. Actually, 2 notes. I would not be surprised that win, lose, or draw, if Freeman does not get traded back to Atlanta, so he can finish his career as an Atlanta Brave. I know that's a 50-50 school of thought for a lot of people. Do we really think this next season would be his last? I'm not sure. I'm not even speculating on that. I'm just saying that there is a part of me that if they do win, I think the trade would be definitely put into play so he can wrap up a career as a Brave. Then if it doesn't happen, he may stay one more year. I can't speak for him. I don't know his overall mindset. And speaking of the Braves, Greg Troxel, Beyond Ringside Family, sent me over a graphic back September 28th, was the 2025 Braves set an MLB record with 71 players used when Charlie Morton stepped up to the plate to pitch on a certain day. I had to sit back and go, what did they do? Get players coming in from the local Kroger? I mean, but by the same token, folks, tell you what, we are going to take the first break. For those of you that are catching this segment on YouTube, please remember, drop on over beyondringside.com, prowrestlingradio.net. You can find us on all your favorite sources as far as you get the shows. Also, as we're getting ready to take it out on this one, I want to say a very special hello. This coming Sunday, from the Beer Hog, Beyond Ringside Live resumes with an old friend dropping in to say hi. The Machine Guff Grayson, Beyond Ringside Origins this Sunday. Check it out. Folks, hang tight. On the live side, back in 5. On the replay side, maybe about a minute and a half. This is Beyond Ringside Live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.